Average performers are all right, but top performers are obviously better. And the biggest difference is simply a sense of purpose. A sense of purpose. Like, y'all, when Stephanie was talking, I was standing in the back. I wanted to sign up again. I was excited. I was listening to her. I was like, yeah, that's exactly what we need to be doing. But you heard her talk about the one. You heard her talk about that small number. And when you're driven by a purpose, it doesn't matter if you have one person in your group or you have 100 people in your group. You're fulfilling the purpose. And so being purpose-driven will make top-performing leaders. You heard Carl. You heard his passion. And that's why his company is $1 billion company, and the joker he was talking to this morning that stressed him out is just $1 million company. Because he is a top performer, because he is driven by purpose. So I want to talk about recruiting coaches. I want to talk about the bait that you use when you recruit coaches. Do I have any Southern people in the house? Praise the Lord. Okay, because I'm about to give a fishing analogy, and I'm about to lose all the Yankees. It's okay. Forgive me. I promise I'm going to do my best to make sense. But when I learned how to fish, my dad wanted to teach me with the easiest fish possible to boost my confidence, right? He wanted to boost my confidence. So there's a fish called bluegill, and they are stupid. Let me tell you how dumb they are. I've caught bluegill. I'm about to show my roots real bad. I've caught bluegill without a fishing pole and without bait. I had Tupperware and I had spit. And if you spit in the water and they think that there's a glimmer that it might be food, they're just gonna come right up to you. And you just go, Tupperware, hey, there's bluegill. Okay? So, where is she going with this? The truth is, if you're using cheap bait, you're not going to catch the best fish. Nobody eats bluegill. It's why you've never heard of it if you're not from the South, because you're never going to see it on a restaurant menu. They're dirty, and they're little, they don't have a lot of meat, and they're dumb. So they're really just there for the other fish that you really want to eat. That's the only reason why they're there. And so when you bait people with purpose, they're not going anywhere because they're about fulfilling a purpose. They're not just there for a paycheck. Because was your paycheck huge, the first one that you got? No. I mean, I remember my first paycheck was for $14.36. I was so stinking excited too. I was like, that's like half a tank of gas. Score. But if you're trying to hook people with the money, guess what you have to use to keep them? The money. And the money doesn't come until there's a whole lot of purpose that goes into it. Whatever you bait them with, whatever you hook them with, is what you have to use to keep them. And so do you know what happens when you start recruiting people with purpose? You can go through, and elite qualifications can go through the holiday months and you don't have to be stressed out. You don't have to spend Wednesday night attached to your computer calling for a red line. We've all done it, I've done it too. But when you have people that are attached to a purpose, they're not going anywhere. And they don't jump ship because there's another product out there that's cheaper. Simon Sinek wrote a fantastic book called Start With Why. If you haven't read it, write it down, put it on your list. But he says that people make decisions and they act out of two basic things. And it's either manipulation or inspiration. And you can manipulate somebody into making a transaction. But a transaction does not produce loyalty. If you inspire people, that produces loyalty. And that's when they come back, even if your product's a little bit more expensive. And that's why they come back, even if there's not a sale on something that they want. They come back because they're attached to you. And because they're attached to a product that's like no other. Do y'all know how lucky we are to have such amazing products? Mm-hmm. I've been a coach for 7 years. I told you I'm Beachbody old. And my husband is a wonderful man, but he's a bit of a pessimist, a bit. And so every time for like the first 4 to 5 years that I was in my coaching journey, that Beachbody would come out with a new product, he'd be like, they're not gonna be able to top this one. Like T25 came out, he's like, it's over. Yeah, 25-minute workout, it'll kick your tail. Nope, they can't top it. And what have they done? They've continued to top. But it's not what we sell, it's what we stand for. And that comes from who we are as Team Beachbody. Because the products create the revenue, right? But people create the passion. People stay around for people. They stay around for you. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to think about you before you became a coach. Think about you then. Think about the you that signed up. Are you that same person now? Oh, and the giggles and the laughter. Okay, let me tell you how far I've come. So in college, my major required that I took a public speaking class. I registered for the course for people that had public speaking apprehension. Because I was petrified to speak in front of people. I did not want to have, I was like, ooh, that class only has 10 people in it. Sign me up. Because the other classes had like 50. And I had to be on campus at like 10 o'clock at night for that class. But that was who I was. I was a girl that didn't really believe in myself a lot. And what this business does, that most other businesses don't do, is they invest in us, they challenge us, they push us to be our best, and we have a place where we can be encouraged and recognized for doing our job. That's awesome. Y'all should clap for that. But it's not just them. That's what we do for our teams. Because think about what you were like before you knew somebody believed in you. How much of a difference did it make when you knew that somebody didn't just believe that you had $14.95 in a pulse? $15.95? Yeah, $15.95. It was $14.95 once upon a time. $15.95 in a pulse. They believed in you. And so these are what we have to have. We have to have 2 core beliefs. We have to believe that our company makes a difference, and y'all Beachbody makes this so easy on us. All you gotta do is turn on your TV. We're on like 9,000 infomercial channels for you to see the difference that we make all the time. But that's not why coaches burn out, and that's not why coaches quit, right? Coaches quit because of the second core belief. They quit because they believe that they're personally not making a difference. And as coaches, as their coach, that's where we step in. That's where it's our job to make sure that they know how awesome we think they are. Because when you love people like that, here's what happens. They can't help but walk taller and talk differently. Because love has the power to expand. It has the power to expand their belief to where they will literally speak to people and walk differently, carry themselves differently, just because they know that somebody loves them and somebody's willing to invest in them. And fear does the exact opposite. If we try to intimidate or bully or anything of that nature, all it does is it makes people doubt themselves. It just makes them doubt themselves, which completely goes against the core belief that they've got to have, that they're making a difference. And so as leaders, we have to remember our best investments will always be made when we are looking to the interests of others. Because it's not always our job to shine. It's our job to say, how can I put the spotlight onto somebody else? How can I make sure that somebody else knows that I see what they're doing and that they are absolutely amazing? So I'm going to give you a couple of ideas. And I stole the first one from Brandy Box, but she doesn't call Success Club with her team. She calls it the Changing Lives Club.